All right, well, welcome back to our community conversations. And this morning we have Gilbert Trejo, who oversees engineering, operations, and technical services for El Paso Water. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you so much. You know, we were just talking about this with the cooler weather. We are loving it, but that obviously comes with some rain. And you guys have been working really hard to deal with flooding, especially those areas that are pretty prone to it.
Yeah, especially, so we know we just had rain. We had some issues on I-10 and Cotton that date back to the floods of 2006, right? I think that's fresh in our minds, even though it happened a long time ago. But talk to us about all of the work that's been conducted in that specific area of El Paso.
Yeah, so I think most important for our customers to know is that, you know, their safety and commuter safety is our #1 priority. We've committed and have completed $300 million worth of projects there in the downtown area alone. So when the stormwater utility was first created in 2008, there was about $640 million worth of work, and half of that has been dedicated to the downtown area to ensure that the I-10 doesn't flood as often as we've seen it still happen on Friday. But those two big ponds, the gateway ponds on either side of I-10 have gone a long way to protecting I-10 from flooding. There's been several events since those ponds have been completed that has kept I-10 from flooding. But there's obviously much more work to go. We have pump stations that have been completed. They turned on Friday, which is why we were able to clear I-10 as quickly as we did, but there's still more work to be done.
Yeah.
And when it comes to stormwater projects, I know that these are something that a lot goes into making them happen, right? Because you guys, of course, want to make sure they're done right and they're done well. And ultimately, they're going to help keep people safe. And so is there any other projects that you guys have in the works, I should say? And then what is the timeline for those?
Yeah, so stormwater is all about protecting people's property and people from these floods, right? So we've got several projects all over town that are intended to do that. So over on the west side, we have the Arroyo 1 project, which is over by Tippin School. That one is intended, of course, to protect everything downhill as everything's coming down the mountain, down towards I-10 also. We got to protect all that property.
You're seeing crews here cleaning out the drain waters
Will Ruth,
too, right?
Yeah, so Will Ruth Pond in the northeast. We've been talking to them for quite a while, but this is a large pond. A lot of these projects involve acquisition of private property, which is always a sensitive thing for us to do. We're very careful, thoughtful about how we involve private property and needing their property in order to build the projects that we need to. And then over on the east side, there's a large project near the SAC, near the SAC stadiums. We call it the SAC basins that are needed in order to also protect all the property downstream. So, you know, you go out there, you see the mesa coming off of the SAC area down the loop. That's a lot of water that needs to make its way down to the river. So we've got a lot of projects out there to make sure that we do that in a careful way.
Yeah, and I'm sure in areas of El Paso, while you're working on one area, maybe one area that wasn't a problem, it tends to be a problem now. So people often question, you know, where is our money going? When we're being charged on our water bills, where is that money going? Obviously, you're talking to us about all of those projects, but what's your message to them? You know, we just saw that flooding on I-10, and like you said, you're working in that area, and it is mitigating some of that issue. But what would you tell people that may ask, like, well, we're paying on our bills and we don't necessarily see a lot of fixes, but really there are a lot of fixes that are being that are happening.
Yeah, so the message to our customers that it's going to protect them, and it's going to protect them as they make their way all around the city. So although maybe in their particular neighborhood they haven't seen a big project or the impact, but certainly we all use I-10. We all use streets all over town. And neighborhoods all over town. We have friends and family all over town that get protected by these projects. So first and foremost, the money is going towards protecting them. I think the other thing that we remind them that this is the unsung hero, the invisible infrastructure. Like there's so much work that goes into these projects, but they're underground or they're these big ponds behind the fences, so people don't see it. But certainly the work is getting done. We have $70 million worth of projects that we get funded for every year. Last year we completed 90% of those projects, or 90% of those $70 million were completed. So a lot of work is being completed, and a lot more work needs to be done as well.
Yeah, and you know, you continue to take a look at video of your guys' workers out there doing hard work. This is really no joke. You know, I had a segment called Breaking the Bias, and I got to follow around one of El Paso Water's people, and she was incredible, and just the work that you guys do, it's so important. I know that here in our area in particular, we do sometimes deal with some severe weather. Can you talk to us a little bit about, I guess, how you guys prepare for an event like that?
Yeah, so severe events we prepare for all year, to be quite honestly. So it starts with all the maintenance that we need to do.
Yeah.
So every day our workers are out there cleaning ponds, cleaning the inlets, cleaning dams. So a lot of people don't know there's over 70 dams in El Paso
That's
up on
a
the
lot.
mountain to make sure that that water stays up there and we release it slowly. But our workers are up there. They're up there in the dams, they're in the ponds, they're working hard. They really are unsung heroes when it comes to the work that's done. So the emergency preparedness really is all year, because those ponds need to be clean, clear, free of trash and debris. So it's really an all year thing. On the actual week of the event, so we get enhanced the weather reports, I'll call them, where we know exactly what part of town it's going to rain in. So not just that it's going to rain, but we get some additional data that tells us where we deploy our vehicles, our teams out to those areas and stage there, so that when it starts raining, we don't get stuck ourselves in traffic, or maybe in some waters in the streets that delays us from getting there. So we do some staging leading up to the actual event itself. But I think more importantly, all the maintenance that happens all year round is really the key to make sure that there aren't any emergency events, because that's really what we're striving for.
And we just saw a video there too of sandbags that you guys also prepare to hand that stuff out. Looks like we're seeing it here behind us. So El Paso Water also does distribute sandbags to the community?
Yes, free sandbags. So free sandbags. Every part of town has their own distribution center. They have their times associated with them. You can see it on our website, but you can just roll up with your vehicle, with your truck, whatever, and take as many sandbags as you need to protect your property.
That is so important. Gilbert, thank you so much for talking with us here today. We really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
We're going to post that information about sandbags too on our website at kfoxtv.com. Just click under the community conversation tab.
Yes.